Wow, guys, I appreciate everyone hopping on early. We'll just give everybody a couple of minutes to hop on and we'll get started. All right, we're right on time. And even though some people might still trickle in, we could get started. I see a few people from our regular challenge, which is awesome. Also, possibly a few new people. So these listing challenge calls are very chill. Feel free to turn your camera on or off, turn your microphone on or off whenever you want to speak. You don't have to raise your hand or anything like that. It's just very casual. Um, so I just wanted to spend the first little bit of time just kind of explaining what the challenge is. And I think Erin's joining, so give her a second. Oh, there she is. Hey, Erin. So we're just getting started, and I was just going to say that since some of you are Vendoo members and have done challenges before, and some people are new, that possibly we could just do a quick overview of how the whole thing works. We have another Vendoo account joining. Let's see who that is. It'll be a surprise. We all say Vendoo. Um, hmm. Okay, we have one extra Vendoo team member. I'm not sure who you are. You can say who you are in the chat, or you can turn your camera on. So we can see who's here. Turn my chat on in case anyone chats. So I know when we have these daytime meetings, sometimes people jump on from work. So I know some of you will have your cameras off, and that's okay. So over on our Vendoo Facebook group, which is Vendoo, a reseller's best friend, if you're not already in that group, we run these challenges quite often. It started out being like once or twice a year, and now we do it 4 times a year. They're highly motivational. They get a lot of praise from the people that take part in them. Highly rated little contests that we do. So what we're trying to do is bring it to more people. So we made a partnership with the Poshmark thrifting group and decided to run a listing challenge for you guys for listing to Poshmark and provide prizes. So we have some cash gift card prizes as well as some other cool like Vendoo swag prizes as well to give out to people. But of course, everybody wants the cash. And I will explain how to win that during this explanation. But how we do it is because everybody is at a different stage in their business, right? Some of us are full-time, some of us are part-time, some of us are full-time with a staff. It's craziness. So, we can't hold a listing contest and simply say who's going to list the most wins, right? To make it an even playing field, this is how we do it. Everyone signs up for their own listing goal. So when you signed up for the challenge, and if you haven't, make sure to go into the group and click the link and sign up for the challenge officially. Um, it'll ask you what what you want your goal to be. And during calls like this and in posts in the group, we'll talk about those goals and throughout the month and try to help each other along and try to reach those goals. So how do you win the prizes? We take into account um, people who come to live calls, not required, but it gets you an extra entry into the drawings. We take note of participation weekly. So if you've signed up for the contest and we see that you've participated at least one time throughout the week, each week, then that's another entry. And then the big one is our game. So we posted it in the group on the 1st, and it is that little scratch off power play game. And it's got cool little things that you can check off. Erin, can you find that post and link that one? Um, so it'll be like, if you listed and sold something in the same day, you can check something off. If you sourced a new brand, you can check that off. It'll have different little things you can check off, and each box that you check off is another entry into the contest. So throughout the month, you don't have to wait until you finish the whole thing. Throughout the month, anytime you're proud of yourself for like checking several things off, feel free to post your results in the group. I started a group chat as well, so we don't clog up the feed too much with our listing challenge posts. You can also post it in that group chat. And towards the end, we'll definitely be doing a call that says, hey, if you're participating, make sure to update us in this thread about your scratch off cards so that we can make sure we get everybody's entries in for the drawings at the end. So hopefully that makes sense. If anyone has any questions about how the contest works, just feel free to unmute and start talking at any time. I'll be quiet for a second to see if anyone has any questions. Okay. So the next thing we'd like to do on the kickoff calls is to start talking about our goals. So this part, I will try to have people speak. So get ready in case you get called on, or if you volunteer. And if you're in a situation where you can't speak, like you're at work and you're like at your cubicle, put it in the chat, and just say what your goal is. I'll go first to give you an example. So I'm actually going to have a light week this week because I have 2 trips. I'm going to PoshFest this week. And then in 2 weeks, I'm going with my family on a trip to California to visit some family down there or up there from where I am. And I'll be gone for like a whole nother week. So I'm gonna have a lot of traveling this week. So my goal normally I'll try to go for like 200 as a part-time reseller. I did that last month and I only made it to 100. So I think my goal for this month is going to be 75. I think I can, with all that travel, I think I still will be able to make 75 new listings. Now, if you're a full-time reseller, that might sound low and you might have a much higher goal. That's fine. If you're even more of a part-time reseller, your goal might be lower, and that's okay. So I do see someone in the chat has said, let's see, Gianna has said that her goal is 150, but hopefully more. Awesome. And we look forward to supporting you in that goal. Does anyone else already have their listing goal for September figured out?
Hi, this is Lisa, and I am a fairly new reseller just starting in August. And I have 120 for my goal this month. Because I will be out of town for a couple of weeks, I preloaded my inventory. So every day I am dropping 1 or 2 listings.
Good idea. Definitely. And yeah, that's a good idea. And I should do that too while I'm out. Christy says her goal is she's part-time and that her goal is 50. 50 for now. Okay, so if you make and exceed 50 before the deadline, maybe you'll raise that. It's how I'm reading into that. Angie says both kids are in school for the first time. Awesome feeling, and I'm going for 150. All right, good luck with that. And that's awesome. So now you have a little bit more free time during the day, during those school hours. Awesome. I don't have the kids excuse because my kids are older. In fact, they're so much older that sometimes they're helpful.
Oh yeah, mine are so young that they're the entire opposite, but school starts tomorrow. I felt that in my soul when Angie said that.
Yeah, for sure. Now wait, see now when you get your kids get older, you enter a whole new phase because I've got a couple things going on. I've got kids who are bigger and stronger. Both my teenage boys are larger and stronger than me. My little babies are like towering over me. So they can carry heavy boxes. They can take, now one of them's got his driver's license, so he can like go to the storage unit for me, which is awesome. And then one of my two kids also is actually very into fashion. So he goes with me sourcing and he helps me with the Depop trends. Some of what I post on like my Instagram when I'm posting tips, some of that comes from him. You see, I get to go to the high school events, see what kids are wearing. Um, and soon it'll be college kids and seeing what they're wearing. So yeah, it's a whole new phase. Crystal says also for her, the first time both kids are in school. That's awesome. So besides travel, does anybody else have any like blockers or things that normally get in their way that they want to try to reduce or work on during this listing challenge?
Me, I'm the problem. Get in my way.
What's your problem, Erin?
Me, I am the problem.
Just you in general.
I'd rather source than list, and I neglect things that I think are going to be such a pain to list for whatever reason, right? Maybe it's a tall dress, maybe it needs a little research, and I neglect it forever and just like list the easier things. Then I'm left with all the things I don't want to list. I need to stop doing that. I need to like force myself to list a couple of the pain in the ass items, if you will, per day so that they get listed. That's my biggest problem.
I completely feel that. I do the same. And like this weekend, I wanted to crank out a lot of listings. So what did I do? I grabbed the bin of shoes that had already been photographed, and those are so easy to list and photograph. And that's what I did a lot of this weekend. But of course, that leaves out all the other stuff. Maybe one way around that could be like to make a list of things you're going to list, like per day or per week, like so many from this category and so many from this category. Um, and mix it up that way. Um, what is everyone's like what is your favorite thing, easiest thing to list and hardest? Um, I'm finding it way easier to list things like shoes and jewelry, and I'm starting to list things that aren't clothing now, and those things actually are also much easier to list. Um, and the reason for that for me, which could be different for others, is that I suck at taking pictures. I don't enjoy it. I don't consider myself that great at it. Like, of course, I've gotten better over the years. Maybe I'm better than like an average person, but not as good as other resellers. It takes me a long time. So the easier the thing is to photograph for me, the faster the whole process goes. So those are my easy things. My hard things are um, getting colors right, getting black clothing to show up correctly in photos. I've played with photo settings and I've gotten much better at that, but I still don't like it. And I tend to thrift a lot of black clothing because I like it. And also extra long garments like jumpsuits and ball gowns. Those are like some of my hardest things. How about everybody else? Crystal and Gianna both love listing shoes. Ooh, definitely prioritize Halloween costumes. In fact, I put Halloween costumes up in August. But if you have some, definitely get them up like right now, like this week, because people are definitely shopping for them. I've already sold a few. I'm really sad I didn't my connection that I've had for the last few years that I buy in bulk from didn't get any this year. So, and then because I was relying on that, I didn't research any other possibility backup options. So I just kind of missed out on it this year. But I love selling Halloween costumes. Did you know that Halloween is the second largest commercial holiday behind Christmas? So people spend like almost as much money during Halloween as they spend on Christmas. So Christmas or Halloween costumes, Halloween decor, anything related to Halloween, make sure you get it up right now. Lisa says she's spending too much time on each listing, giving too many details, and wanting to trim down to see if it makes a difference in sales. By too much detail, do you mean like your listing descriptions you feel like are too long or detailed, or do you mean you're spending like too much time on the research? Because I can see it being both, either one of those things. The actual listing. Well, details are good, especially on the platforms, which are most of them that search the description for keywords. So you do want to make sure that don't whittle your process down so much that you're missing out on keywords. That would be my only suggestion. Oh, that's a lot of characters. Those are pretty long descriptions.
I generally use all the character space too, but it's not like all sentences. Like there's a lot of keywords and such that are relevant. That I wouldn't recommend skipping.
Yeah.
Just because if you try to go faster and list more, but they don't have as many words and your like ranking isn't as good, then that doesn't really
Yeah.
help.
Yeah, the only thing you want to avoid is making like a huge block of keywords at the bottom, right? Because then they kind of see that as spam. But there is a way you can do it throughout your listing where you can put those in without making full sentences, but also without making it a block. Like like for example, I have like a little section that says like where you might wear it, and it has some of those keywords and what you might wear it with, and then what styles or vibes it is, but they're separate, so that's not one big long block. But they're also not complete sentences either. So it goes a little bit faster. And then if you have, I know, so this is a mixed group. Some people in here use a cross listing service called Vendoo, which is where me and Erin work. We're the sponsors of the listing challenge. Some people are not there yet, maybe not cross posting yet. If you have not tried Vendoo yet, one of the great features of Vendoo that will help you speed up is templates. So if you list a lot of the same items over and over again, like women's jeans, you can create a template that has a lot of the information that's the same for all already in there. Some of the fields and even in the description, so that you just have to change a few things and you don't have to rewrite from scratch over and over and over again. That's one of our favorite features over at Vendoo. Lisa uses the templates.
I could never list without templates again. Like you get so spoiled once you have them. They're amazing.
Yeah, I'm still in the process. So Erin converted me. Even working at Vendoo, I was not using the templates for a long time. Only because I have such limited time, I didn't want to take the time to set them up, right? And she talked me into it. So now the ones that I have made, of course, now I'm using them, consistently, but I still have a few more to go. So I still have some things that I list a lot that the next time I list that thing, I'll be making the template for it. But I've got a lot of them made so far. One of the things I love besides being able to add those descriptions with the templates is the category, because man, is a pain in the butt to click like 11 different times to get into the category. Especially when you're doing non-clothing stuff, sometimes it gets really in there. Like I have to click on like literally 10, 11 times in order to get to the Funko Pop thing for when I list toys. So just that alone could save you like 10 clicks per listing, just the categories. Anyone else have anything? So blockers, so we have easy versus hard items, and we have spending too much time with the details. You know, another way to speed that up rather than cutting back on details is to find ways to get faster at it, right? Like maybe what is it that's slowing you down? Is it that you can't remember like all the keywords that all the fashion trends or trending items? So maybe spend more time learning and memorizing those so that you don't have to research every item. There might be some things like that you could do to speed things up without actually taking away keywords out of your listings. Does anyone have trouble with like pricing or anything else that slows them down? Okay. Since no, we'll move on to the next thing, which is ways to speed up the listing process. Um, Somebody did mention drafting in advance earlier, which is something that I like to do too, especially when I'm getting ready to go out of town. Um, Also batch working helps me a lot. Um, Whereas maybe it's taking a lot of photos, and if I'm on a roll, take more photos because, you know, like I said, for me, photos is the bad thing. So if I'm on a roll, I might as well stay with it and photograph as many things as possible, right? Um, Other things to batch could be like doing all the measurements all at one time. Um, if if you find yourself researching pricing on each thing, maybe doing that. What are some other things that people might do in a batch or in a process to speed up their listing?
I have saved so much time since batch photo editing. I photo edit on the computer, which sounds crazy because like you could do it at your fingertips, but it is so much faster. I use Adobe Lightroom and you can copy and paste edits from one to the next. So if it's 8 of the same shirt and I've already made the background perfect, and it does background removal too, by the way, and I've made like this, the brightness, the saturation, whatever, perfect, I can apply it to all of that same item or even all of the next, but generally I do item by item. You can even like copy and paste the exact crop. So if we're holding your camera a little to the right, and they come out so much better from the computer because they can be stored in a higher resolution than they can the phone. And you can, you know, use your hands to type instead of your thumbs. It's faster. So that saved me like a ton of time per week.
I like that. And I do mine on my phone, but I use the Photo Room Pro and it does the same thing. It will let you remove the background in batch. It will let you create, you know, edit one photo and then apply it to all the photos in batch as well. Let's see. This is from Crystal. We went out of town for the long weekend. I took photos on Friday, then listed in the car while my husband drove. Do you list on like on a laptop or did you list on your phone while you're driving? Your phone. Crystal, are you listing directly to Poshmark or are you using a cross listing service? Oh, yeah, Vendoo. Okay. I thought I recognized your name. It's hard to keep track of the stuff, all the names. And then people have a different name sometimes on Zoom as they do on Facebook and then as they do on Instagram. So sorry if I accidentally don't recognize someone. Yeah, Vendoo's mobile app will let you list and cross list, which is great. You can also relist and delist one at a time on the phone, but still you can do it. You can also remove the background image using Vendoo. We're partnered with Photoroom on that as well. So for anyone who's not quite sold yet on Vendoo, that's another feature that we have. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. You know, well, one thing I like, so I use Vendoo as my way of tracking how many listings I've done for the month because there's an analytics section that it'll show you. But I'm also like a highly visual person and a highly like gamified person. And a Instagrammer recently posted something that I really liked and I might try to implement. I don't know if I'll do it this month because I'm traveling so much. So I might start it in October, but she had this really cool system of a paper calendar that she had set up in her office, and she like gave herself little like stars for the day, like, you know, like you're a little kid and you get like your gold star for completing this task, or you get a little red star for completing that task. And then she wrote on the calendar how many new items she listed that day, how many she relisted and delisted for that day. And I thought that was really cool because it just gives you if you're like a really visual person, you're motivated by that. That could be a good way to keep you going through the month. Other people might just see like that as extra work and then that they don't want to do something like that. But it could be motivating for some people. I think I'm going to give it a try. Um,
I actually do something kind of similar that
yeah.
I have a dry erase board up that has my goal for sales and for listing. And it's incredibly helpful just to keep visually to see where I'm at. But also my son comes in every night and is like, Mom, you need to list more. You haven't hit your goal yet. So that's kind of helpful.
That is, I like that. Does anybody else do something like that? Other things I've tried, I know I downloaded something off Etsy a while back that was like a grid, and it had like a little item and there was 100 of them on a page, and it came in different amounts, but like for example, you would do the one with 100 and it would be like 100 apples or 100 cups of coffee or 100 something, what, you know, it came with a whole bunch. And then you would color in, you could either cross off or color in each little one, you know, so until you reach your goal and it would show you. Or there was one that was like a thermometer that you could just keep incrementing, you know, up until you reached your goal. So just some cute visual fun things to do. Yes, absolutely. So you need to relist and delist only through Vendoo, or it will disconnect all your listings, and now sales detection won't work and future delistings and relistings won't work. So yeah, so if you've already been doing it, then those links are already broken. You're gonna need to fix that. It doesn't mess with the analytics per se. It messes with it disconnects it, so Vendoo no longer knows that listing exists. So if you sell something on eBay, it no longer is able to delist it on Poshmark for you. It can't find it anymore. You do have to watch out too, because some of those bots have that relist delist feature turned on automatically. And like, so some people sign up for that just for the sharing and they don't want to use the other features, but they didn't realize that it was already turned on automatically and it starts relisting and delisting their stuff. So if you use a third-party bot, just make sure you check that setting right away when you set it up. Mhm. How was everybody's August sales? Were they picking up from the summer? While we're waiting for people to answer, I will answer. Mine started out really strong. I was like it was like 100% over the previous month, which was great. I ended up being 54% above because I ended up getting 3 returns on eBay. So it brought it back down a little bit, but it was still much better than July. How did anybody have good month, bad month in August? Oh, that's right. So Lisa, you're new. And so this was your first month. You had net profit of 240 and you realized your cost of goods was too high and now sourcing better. Good. Especially when you're starting out and you haven't like earned enough like capital, put enough money into your business account for sourcing, you definitely want to start low. August was better than July, not great though. Just getting back after not being able to source for 2.5 years. Crystal, what was keeping you from sourcing? Were you just taking off from a break from reselling or? And we can talk about low cost sourcing if you need any help with that, Lisa. July was better than August, but listed less due to life, hoping September will be better. Yep, listing less will definitely lead to less sales. We are living in Puerto Rico. Oh, okay, okay. You have discovered the bins, awesome, and the $1.79 Wednesdays at my local Goodwill store, awesome. I don't know garage sales, yard sales, whatever you call them, wherever, depending on where you live in the country. I don't know if they're big in your area, but that's another great place. People sell clothing extremely cheap at garage sales, usually, and they take deals. They negotiate what other stores don't. So it's a little bit more time consuming to drive to garage sale, but you can find some great deals that way. Also don't forget this is more for when you're just starting out, but don't forget to like let your family and friends know what you're doing because you'll be surprised how many of them will donate to you as well to help you get your business started. Try not to get into a consignment agreement with them unless the items are super high priced, because people do not understand how long it takes to list clothing and stuff, and it's a mess. We're trying to consign for family and friends, and they want to give you like basic brands, and they don't realize that their profit's going to be like $2, right? After all your expenses and the split. So, unless they're selling like Gucci, I wouldn't do that, but you'll be surprised how many people will actually just give you stuff, in order to help you, depending on how supportive your family and friends are. And then another thing that, I had good luck with when I first started, but this is like 8 years ago, which was I put like a message on Nextdoor and I was very transparent. Like I didn't say like, I'm looking for free clothes. I basically said what I'm doing. I'm supplementing our family's income by doing this thing called reselling. Here's what reselling is. Here's what I need. I'm looking for donations. If you want to donate, all you have to do is put the stuff on your porch. I'll come pick it up for you. whatever I can't use, I'll donate to Goodwill for you. And you'd be surprised, I actually got people that gave me stuff, and some was good and some wasn't. And like, whatever you can't sell, you just donate to the Goodwill, no problem. And that's another good way. And local Facebook groups. And you just have to be careful because some of them are like sensitive about getting free stuff and then reselling it. So make sure you check the rules. And then also make sure you're transparent in your posts that you are reselling these items, like you are making a profit. And then usually people don't mind as long as you're being honest about it. Last day of estate sales are usually 50 to 75% off. Yep. If you find the right companies, they will bundle cheaply just to get rid of stuff. Yes. Especially clothes. Because so estate sale companies, they have to do something with all the leftover stuff, right? Either the family keeps it and the family doesn't know what to do with it, or they donate it all, or they have certain methods of getting rid of or liquidating the stuff. And a lot of them don't really want the clothing. So they will bundle the clothing usually at the ends. Also, it's kind of big and bulky. This is just a way to get rid of that stuff quickly. And usually in an area, depending on how big your area is, it's just like a handful of companies that handle all the estate sales professionally. So you can easily like get to know those companies, get to know the people in them, find the ones that you like that you kind of click with, let them know what you do. There's like one that I go to here a lot and they know that I'm looking for jewelry. So, you know, they can let me know, hey, this one's going to have a lot of leftover on the last day, and then I'll come back on the last day. So you can like make a relationship with people too. Another good way to source, like if you want to do stuff in bulk, I've done a lot of eBay bulk lot auctions and whatnot bulk lot auctions where the price per piece comes out extremely low. All right. So excuse my moments of silence. I just want to make sure that everyone gets a chance to talk so I don't talk the entire time. So moving forward, we do have another listing call, and let me see when it is on my calendar here. But the next one will be at night. Somebody was asking in the group if any of them are at night for people that work during the day, and there is. We have the mid-month one is always at night, and that is on the 16th. So the next listing call, check the events tab in the Poshmark Thrifting group. All the calls are set up in advance, so you can go ahead and RSVP there. And yeah, that's at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then there'll be another call at the end of the month on the 30th. That one will be during the day again at the same time. And that's when we kind of like wrap things up at the ends there. So meanwhile, in the group, you know, feel free to post. Since that group is a lot bigger than we're used to, it's a lot larger, and there's a lot more posts going on. Feel free to tag either me or Erin in a post about the listing challenge if you want to make sure that we see it. That would be helpful, but feel free to post in the group about it. Those posts will be approved. Erin is a moderator of that group, and they have also made me a temporary moderator of the group for the month just so I can help them with the listing challenge. Because I promised the owner, Lexi, that I would do all the work and she wouldn't have to do anything. So yeah, just tag us in anything, and then also feel free to utilize that chat that I created today. That's also a very good way to make sure that we see your posts. We see that you're participating. Also, we can jump in and answer questions that you might have. Erin and I have both been reselling for a very long time. So if you're newer to reselling, definitely feel free to reach out to us in those chats and ask questions and stuff throughout the month, because we'll be happy to give you our advice. And we both list on Poshmark. I will say too, I just posted this on my Instagram today, my little graph that shows it's an analytic feature in Vendoo. It'll show you where your stuff sold, what marketplace, if you list to more than one marketplace. And let me tell you, I love Poshmark. Poshmark is still like my number one. It's where I got my start. It's where traditionally, month after month, I usually have the most sales. That has been changing lately. I'm having more and more sales in the other marketplaces, and the Poshmark is getting a little bit smaller than the piece of the pie. So it's interesting every month to see how many sales you're making on all the different marketplaces. And if you list to 3 or more marketplaces, we figured out from, just looking at our own Vendoo user data. So just looking at that data set, people that listed to 3 or more marketplaces, their sell-through rate was 188% higher than people who were only listing to 1 or even 2 marketplaces. And sell-through rate just means, how quickly you're selling the things that you list, like how long are things sitting around versus how quickly they're moving out the door once you list them. So you're selling things quicker and storing them for less time if you're on multiple marketplaces. You definitely want that because that's what's going to keep money inflowing into your business account so that you can keep sourcing.
I also just put a link in the chat for anyone that's not on Vendoo. Feel free to check it out. We have live demos once a week. I actually host them every week except tomorrow. I will be at Posh Fest this week. So one of our customer success agents is hosting it. But those are awesome. They're live demos. They show you every single thing Vendoo does, right? Importing, listing, cross-listing, photo editing, inventory management, sales detection. And it's live, so you can ask questions. And we host those every week. So if you haven't tried it, check that out as well. Like Deanna, I started on Poshmark, and now Poshmark month over month is between 35 and like 49% of my sales, which is cool. I mean, that's still my biggest marketplace, and I think it always will be, but it means I would have less than half the sales if I didn't cross list. So big fan of Vendoo. Deanna and I both also used Vendoo before we worked for Vendoo. So we are the resident resellers on the team here.
Yeah, and you look at that pie chart and you just realize that if it wasn't for cross listing, all those other, 51% of the sales, you wouldn't have made those sales. A lot of the marketplaces are a lot easier to list to than you think too. Some people get a little overwhelmed because they think it's going to be a lot of work, but especially if you use a tool like Vendoo to do it, it's a lot less work. Except eBay, haha, yes.
They're actually all wicked easy except eBay.
Yeah.
eBay is the only pain.
Yeah. And eBay gets faster the more you do it. Like,
Yeah, you memorize it. You like zoom through the form.
Yeah, you start getting used to it and zoom through it. And like in Vendoo, you just tab, and you can go through pretty quickly. And if you're using templates, half of those fields can be filled out, or maybe even more than half. I can't remember, Erin, how many fields you said?
More than half.
Yeah, more than half.
We also have Vendoo defaults fields. So when you list to somewhere like Poshmark, right, you don't have to enter the original price every time unless you want to. You can set it as 0 or set it as $9.99. You don't have to select if you want to offer a shipping discount every time. You can default that. And those are just examples on Poshmark, but on every marketplace form, there are many things like that can be defaulted. So the info you'd always enter the same way. It doesn't have to be, which is nice. I think a lot of posh sellers, when they look at eBay, get super intimidated because it's a lot more. But first of all, eBay isn't really that intimidating. You get used to it. But the rest are all really easy. Like others make Poshmark look overwhelming. eBay is the only one that's got a lot of fields.
Yeah. So if you are cross listing and you start in Vendoo and you fill out your Vendoo and your eBay form, from there on, it's like cake. Poshmark is, I think, down to like 0 clicks. I do like double check to make sure the category came over correctly. And other than that, you like click. Mercari, all you have to do is select your shipping option and you're done. Whatnot is just click list and you're done. So a lot of them are like nothing, like, and then Depop just has a couple little, unique fields to Depop that you have to put in, but like super easy. What was which was the other one that was super easy? I thought there's one more.
Grailed is less than 2 clicks. Citizen's less than 2.
Yeah.
Mercari is 2 to 4 clicks depending on their optional features. Facebook Marketplace is less than 3 clicks.
Oh yeah, Facebook Marketplace is very easy.
The only ones that really have like unique fields are Depop, Etsy. Granted, these are all optional, but we all know, even if a field is optional, like there's a reason you're being asked. So for best results, you should fill it out. Yeah, Etsy, Shopify, and Depop have a couple fields. Oh, Whatnot is 2 clicks. Yeah. So I always tell people, like, if like all the little ones, right, they may never be your best. Like I've actually never met a seller that tells me Kitizen is their best marketplace. I've never met that person. But at the end of the year, I'm like, oh, that was $9 grand on Kitizen. Like it seems like it's only a couple sales a month, but when you do that on 11 marketplaces, and they all add up, it's definitely cool. And there's no loss when it takes 10 seconds. Like you can literally cross list to 11 marketplaces in under 5 minutes, which if you do a listing from scratch on a marketplace, it probably takes almost that anyways, because there's not those templates that get you started in those defaultable fields. So there's no such thing as like, oh, the marketplace isn't worth it. Like you're not investing any time. The only one that's time exhaustive is eBay, and eBay is worth it. So you won't even be in that conversation that you're saying that. You know, I probably only make 3 sales a month on Grailed. If I had to manually list there, it would never be worth it. But I take 6 seconds per listing to put it there. So collectively, I might have spent 20 minutes by the end of the month. So those 3 sales, you know.
Yeah, also if you just want to dip your toe in the water of cross listing and you're not ready to invest in all that stuff yet, I'm not sure if everyone knows this or not, but Curtsy actually directly syncs with Poshmark. So you can open a Curtsy account, which is not one, it's not a marketplace that Vendoo even has right now, but you can open a Curtsy account and sync your Poshmark closet to Curtsy. It will sync your items. Plus it will, if it sells, it'll take it off and everything. It will sync it completely. You don't have to do anything. Now there are some, because they released this feature relatively recently, it's not perfect. It doesn't fill in every single form. It just fills in the required forms. So there's stuff missing. You could take the time to go into all those listings and fix them, but me and Erin don't. We just let it sync however it's going to sync, and we make sales. So definitely check that out, because once you set that up once, you don't have to worry about it at all. The app will tell you if you get an offer or something. The shipping's easy. That's an easy one to dip your toe in the water if you want to cross list to an easy platform.
Yeah, I like that one. Again, it's not phenomenal, right? It's like 2 sales, but I mean, 0 effort. I'll take it. They all add up. They really do. Posh is still my favorite though. Speaking of which, is anyone here going to Posh Fest? Crystal's trying Curtsy again. Nice.
I will say it's funny, when I first joined, I was getting like a bunch of sales at Curtsy. It must have just been right at the right time. Now the sales have slowed down, but I'm still making them, and I'm doing 0, work to make them. So even though they've slowed down, it's still worth it, obviously, because you're not doing anything.
You know, I've been getting a lot of on Curtsy. It's kind of annoying, but I guess it's kind of cool. Curtsy has a feature where you can ask for free shipping. Granted, that means basically they're going to buy it outright, right? So it's like Erin asked Deanna if she'll do free shipping, and if Deanna says yes, like that's binding. Like I just bought the item for full price with free shipping. So if the item is above 40, like that's great. Like we were probably already prepared to offer like a $6 difference, like offer anyways. And when I get them on an item that's 25, I'm like, not really. I don't really want to offer free shipping, but the fees are still less than Posh, so I'll take it. But I've been getting a lot of those, and I guess it's a good thing because it does encourage sales. Like they feel like they're getting an even bigger deal than if I offered them $5 off, but it's probably $2 more, and then they feel like they don't have to pay for shipping. So it works.
Yeah.
No, I don't do free shipping anywhere. Listen, every single marketplace says that if you offer free shipping, you're like 80% more likely to make sales. They all have a stat, they all publish it, they all say it. So perhaps if I could do that, I would make way more sales. So I'm not discouraging it. If you can afford free shipping, if you can work it into your price, if you can make that work, do it. I can't make that work with my inventory. Like my average sale price is $38, and that's an average. That means I sell things for $25, right? I can't offer $7 shipping on something for $25. I really can't. But if I sold nicer things, I think I could make it work. So if you can anywhere, do it. I don't anywhere. I mean, sometimes I offer it, like I make that as an offer,
Yeah.
but I don't list that way.
And
Plus, I feel like when you list with something like that, like they don't even like, it doesn't even register. It's like if you have an automatic bundle discount on Poshmark, I always tell people to take it off. Because like the buyer doesn't even realize if they put 3 things in a bundle, yes, they can see, like it says, enjoying the 20% off discount. But like if their price appears as 40, like they want you to offer something less.
yeah.
So I tend to like list high, charge shipping, and maybe when I'm making discounts or sending offers, then I can offer those special things and hope that they're extra enticing.
Yeah, and I did at one point run my own little experiment, so totally not scientific because I'm just one person, right? Um, where on mercari, because, and I did this was a couple years ago though. I did this because of the way I shop on mercari. On mercari, as a shopper, I would filter by free shipping because I didn't want to pay the shipping as a buyer, right? So I thought, well, since other people out there like me are probably doing that, maybe I should be offering free shipping. So I kind of did an experiment where I went ahead and made all my items free shipping and raised the prices. And there was zero, absolutely zero difference in the amount of sales that I got. And I think I left it up for 2 months, maybe that way. And there was absolutely no difference. So I ended up going back to paid shipping just because I thought it's better to have the lower price than to have that super high price to try to account for my offering free shipping. So I ended up taking it back. I honestly did not see that 80% increase in sales that they all say that you're going to make if you offer free shipping. So I don't think that's necessarily true. And I think you're going to get asked for offers no matter what. So now you're paying for shipping and getting 50% off offer requests, right? So we're not Amazon. We can't afford to ship everything for free.
Yeah. Listen, if I could afford it, it'd be different. Especially on Posh, I mean, everything's $8. That is such a good deal for £5, but it is a horrible deal for earrings. Like
Right.
horrible. Okay. On eBay, that would be $4.50. That I could maybe do sometimes, and I do on eBay. I have policies. $4 is one of the things I charge because it's I pay a little, but is a great deal. But for Posh, it being $8, I mean, that's just insane. And Curtsy's pricing isn't phenomenal either. It's tiered. It's very comparable to Mercari. Like, not great. Like, too bad we don't have pirate ship. We could probably do it cheaper ourselves. Like, I mean, you can do that on Mercari, but you can't on Curtsy. It's their labels. So,
Yeah, and Poshmark, you're stuck with their.
No one answered Posh Fest. I guess that means no one's going. No one here Posh Fest this week? Well, we will probably live stream some of it and just be posting throughout it on our Instagram. So
Yeah, we will
take a
for sure.
peek, Tiana. I leave at 3 a.m. actually. Scheduled an Uber for 3 a.m. Yeah.
Erin.
I didn't choose my flight. Vendoo did.
I was complaining about having to get up at 6:30 in order to get to get there as around the same time as you.
That's my flight. Leaves at
3:30.
6:30. Hey, we're leaving at the same time. My flight leaves at 6:19, but the airport's an hour away. So to be there 2.5 hours early, that's the time I'm leaving. Have you guys ever heard of this? This is interesting. I have a layover. So I go from Massachusetts to Charlotte. I have a 2-hour layover. And then Charlotte to Tennessee is a 23-minute flight. I feel like, not to be too crunchy, But environmentally, shouldn't there be like a ban on that? Like, how is that a thing? It is
Yeah.
though.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know that was my husband. I sent him like the itinerary right from like the app, just so like, you know, he knows where I am. And he's like, your second flight's 23 minutes. No, it's not. It is.
Mhm.
Chris
Oh
said,
yeah.
not this year. You went to Phoenix. I didn't go to that one, but I heard it was really fun. Lynn, my friend Lynn's Closet LLC told me Phoenix is awesome.
Yeah, I'm glad that this one's in Nashville because I can drive. It's a little bit further than the last time I drove to Nashville because I think it's more downtown than where the last event I went to was. So it's 30 minutes extra drive. That I didn't realize when I said I would drive, but I don't mind. I'm from the Midwest. We drive everywhere. Like if it's under 5 or 6 hours, I'm driving. But the other reason I'm really glad that I'm driving is because of all these clothes I have to bring to dress up for all the events. And I am just not a dress up to go out person. I'm getting there. I'm getting there, but it's a learning process. So Erin is my roommate, and my entire process, or my entire like idea of how to dress for Posh Fest, which is like a part fashion show, right? Is to, since I'm driving, overpack, bring probably twice as much as what I actually need, and then let Erin decide which outfits I will wear to what events. And that's my whole method.
I have the opposite method. I don't like to check luggage. I have an irrational fear that it's going to be lost. Not that that's ever once happened to me, but now I jinxed it. And the first time I do it will, so I can't. So I'm carrying on 6 outfits and they're nothing
And
else.
multiple shoes.
Yeah, nothing else can fit. I mean, Deanna's bringing me some things, but nothing else at all will fit. And it's like, it's packed like an a-hole. Like I'm positively going to give Deanna stuff to mail back to me. Like I have to get it there. There's no getting it back. I couldn't so much as add a t-shirt. It's like real, I'm like breaking a nail, rolling the stuff in there. Yeah, so stay tuned. We'll be posting. They do the hackathon on the second day, which is Friday. So that is the biggest day of Posh Fest. They say everything that's coming new. Last year, it was really heavy into features for live sellers, which for me was not exciting at all, but it was for others. So this year, I don't even know what to expect at the hackathon, but they usually talk about like 4 or 5. Oh, gift cards too. Last year was gift cards and like 8 live features. And I think AI, which I'm pretty sure never
came out.
on
Yeah.
pause, but they definitely said it would. Yeah. This year we'll see what's new, but that's always my favorite part. It's kind of everyone's favorite part, I think. And last year we had good reception, so we actually live streamed it too. AI is currently in beta. Crystal said, ooh, I don't haven't even, you know what? I list from Vendoo. So I haven't listed to Poshmark in like years. I should check. I could have it and I don't even know.
Awesome.
That's cool. I didn't know it was in beta. Awesome.
All right. Well, thank you for coming to our call, and hopefully we will see you on our next call, our evening call. Yeah, and if you were in the beta, you'd probably have got an email or something. Sure. But anyway, good luck on your goals. Make sure to keep us updated. Either you can make a new post in the group, or you can chat in the chat that I just created today. So look for that in the community chat section of the Facebook group. And we'll see you next time.